Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's continue to make videos for Kirameki Paradise. And thanks for the comments on the previous video. I wasn't sure what kind of reception this game was going to get from folks on my channel, but there was enough interest that I thought I could keep making videos for it. Thank you for those comments. But here I will just kind of play some footage that I recorded from yesterday, I think. And then it'll give me a chance, it'll give me a backdrop to kind of talk about some of my motivations for playing this game. Changing the outfits of pretty girls should be motivation enough. But I am a mobile game industry watcher. People who have been watching my channel for a while know that. And I've been watching the industry almost 10 years now. It's a fascinating industry because it's still pretty young overall. But this game, Kirameki Paradise, is kind of unique, or it's a first for my channel, because it is a Chinese game. Chinese games are a newish thing, I want to say. There have been many developer studios that get hired by other publishers to do the work for established properties. But top to bottom, Chinese-made games are still a new thing. They were always considered in kind of an independent developer kind of a light, until Genshin Impact arrived. I can't overstate the pun intended impact that that game had. Now everyone is looking at Chinese game companies differently, and Microsoft is kicking itself for passing on the game, while Sony is patting itself on the back. Kirameki Paradise is a much smaller affair. I don't believe it's going to be anything near what Genshin Impact is. But it's developed and published by Arcosaur Games, a Chinese company, and really the first one that I played, kind of top to bottom, built by a Chinese company. Oh, but here I wanted to point this out. This is a game mode called Collaboration Queen, but taking sort of like buzzwords that appear in mobile games a lot, like collaborations, and then just putting it into the game and attaching a game mode to it to sort of appeal to the mobile game audience is kind of a funny thing that's apparent in this game. And what are we doing here? I'm trying to raise my score so I can continue in these stages, and so I'm building an outfit here. And then going into this game, I didn't know it was Chinese at first, but looking at it, I had a hunch, because certain things were off, or to be more specific, un-Japanese. I felt that in playing South Korea's Destiny's Child. I feel that in the ads that I see for games like Arknights. I see it in in-game ads that play in other mobile games. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not using off in a derogatory way. But it offers an interesting look at the industry because the Japanese market is still where the money is, especially for mobile gaming. Last I checked, they still spend the most per person on mobile games, and twice the number 2, which is South Korea. And so if any mobile game developer is looking to be successful, appealing to the Japanese market is a path to success, and clearly Genshin Impact got that right. I've never played the game Genshin Impact, but it would be interesting to take a deep look, kind of see how they design their game to appeal to the Japanese audience, and then how successful they are with it. And I'm also interested to hear what folks in non-Japanese markets think of the game, what they find appealing about it, and if there's anything weird or off, from a cultural gap point of view. I'm wondering about the universality of the appeal of that game. How much of it crosses, cultural borders. And then when I say that Chinese or South Korean games feel off, it's like when you meet someone where English is not their mother language, but they've spoken it for years or decades, and so they're 98% fluent. But every once in a while there will be a word choice or a pronunciation that's a little strange, and then it stands out like a sore thumb. It's only 2%, but it's kind of easily noticeable, the difference between, 100% fluent and then non-fluent. It's like when I play the English versions of Japanese games, and the communication from the developers, in the in-game news or on social media, feels overly formal and apologetic, and it's because it's translated from the Japanese. Okay, here I am continuing to make more outfits to raise my rank in this collaboration game mode. I am not putting these outfits together because I like them. I'm putting them together because they get the highest score, so don't judge me. In future videos, I want to talk about more of the fashion pieces, which individual pieces I like, which outfits I like. Alright, I'll tell you the exact moment that I knew I was not playing a Japanese game with Kirameki Paradise. I picked up some rewards 2 minutes into the game, and it said omedetou. Or, like, it means congratulations in English, which seems fine, right? Except, Japanese games never congratulate you for anything, except maybe beating the game. Instead, they would say, like, rewards claimed, or mission complete, or something dry like that. Like, the language can be perfectly accurate, you know, and correct, but like the context or the implementation can be a little bit weird sometimes. And for the most part, Kirameki Paradise does a very good job of making a Japanese-esque game experience, but little things like that betray that 2% of non-fluency, which is really interesting to observe, and is one of the reasons why I'm playing the game. Alright, here I'm going through the story mode, and then there's both normal and hard difficulty levels, and then I'll let the story play here. But actually, this kind of threw a lot of people off, but story is actually kind of interesting in this game. But the character, you know, that I made on the main screen, that's the main character, and then she has an older sister who is like a detective who solves crimes. So the game revolves around, you know, investigating different crimes, like stalkers or murderers or this kind of thing. And you look for clues and you interrogate people. So yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. And then they always find an excuse to get you in a new outfit. But yeah, I'm not pointing out like the stuff that is like non-Japanese to sort of pick apart the game, like in a negative light. But as I've said many times before, I enjoy watching the mobile game industry. And then one angle that I've never really investigated was, you know, Chinese games or like non-Japanese companies marketing towards the Japanese market. So it's interesting for me to look at. And I've long been interested thinking about like how game developers market their games towards, you know, their non-native markets. Like, you know, going the other direction, I look at the popularity of like, you know, Japanese pop culture, anime, manga, video games, and etc., and how it's popular around the world. And I know that a lot of that stuff was never made for anyone in mind except for the native, the Japanese market. And like and then pretty much all the creators are also wondering, why is Japanese pop culture so appealing to people around the world? Is it something like universal themes? Or is it something like just something about the Japanese aesthetic or like the Japanese taste that you know, crosses those cultural boundaries and appeals to people? But like we think back to the old Nintendo games like Super Mario Brothers or Legend of Zelda, those aren't, you know, really specifically Japanese like feeling games, you know? So that's understandable why there would be that kind of universality to it. But like an anime like Naruto, which is pretty Japanese with all the ninjas, you know? Why is that so popular around the world? And then, especially recently, how much do the developers or creators, you know, consider the international audience when they're creating their thing? Like I learned the other day that in Final Fantasy XII, they added the characters of Vaughn and Penelo specifically to appeal to the overseas audience. I wish they had not done that because I think they're boring characters, but it is interesting to see like what moves people will take to broaden the appeal of their creation. From the Japanese creator's point of view, it's like a mix of pride you know, that their stuff is popular around the world, but also bafflement. They can't understand maybe what foreigners would get from it. But there must be something in storytelling or themes that transcends borders. Okay, that's all I have to say on this topic for now. In the future, I'll make more videos talking about the actual fashion in this game. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.